Hey guys, and welcome back to another Flex episode. I'm Jeanette Diergaard, your presenter for Flex. With me in studio today is Elmonè Rhode. She is the junior athlete representative of the Namibian Weightlifting and Powerlifting Federation. Elmonè, welcome again. Please explain to us what today's session is about.
Okay, thank you. Today we are going to test your squat stance based on your body anatomy, because everyone's anatomy is different, and based on your anatomy you can determine how you're actually supposed to squat. Most of us have heard that you're supposed to stand wide and basically squat, but some of us are unable to get into that depth and just comfortable squatting like that, and then they will tell you to work on your mobility, but it's actually the main problem is just your body anatomy. It's not allowed to, you can't go that way. And then you might have also heard just to stand shoulder width apart, toes pointing out and squat, which is totally fine. You can do that, but this is just a small test just to show how your body is constructed and how you will just feel more comfortable in the gym squatting in your strongest position, your stance.
So the test that we're gonna do now is so that we as the public know what we're comfortable with, what's our normal stance.
Yes, and just to be comfortable in that position and get the maximum strength throughout that whole position.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to please lie down. Okay, I just need you to, any practitioner, anyone can literally do this. A trainer, you yourself in the gym, you can do this as well. So basically what you do is you just put both of your legs back and just feel where it's comfortable. If that position is comfortable for you, then that is just basically to show you how deep you can actually go into the squat. Just that the amount of depth you can basically reach. And then this is the other exercise that you can just do, just like a quick demo. If you're performing this on someone, make sure that they are comfortable and that they are relaxed and that you got consent to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just going to let her relax a bit, and then I'm going to put this knee back. And as you guys can see, there's a little bit of a block there. There's a little bit of bone blocking us. And then when I go out, it just goes out. So basically, this just basically shows that she has internal hip rotation. And with this, it's just to show if she's supposed to stand wide or narrow. Now, this next movement that I'm going to do, as you can see, if I do, this is 90 degrees, right? And this is about 45 degrees that she can play with to do a squat. And if I take it back, there's really a little bit of a blockage there. That is just there, and this just basically shows she's actually supposed to stand wide while her feet is pointing out. And as you could see just now, that when she rotated her hip out, it actually just showed how she doesn't actually have to stand narrow. Her comfortable position would be just standing wide.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna ask you to please stand up and then just perform
A squat.
a squat.
With what we just practiced now.
Yeah, just a normal squat what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And that just shows how comfortable she got into that position. Quickly stand narrow, just do a narrow squat quickly. Just narrow, just to see. Okay, do you see how uncomfortable she is getting into that narrow position? That just shows her hips. There's a blockage at her hips, so she's actually supposed to stand a bit wider, open up her hips by pointing out her feet, and then she can reach the depth. Yeah, okay. You can just basically reach a comfortable squat in that position. And that's basically it. It's quite easy. Anyone can do this. So yeah.
So what's the implications if we go into an uncomfortable position?
Okay, if you go into an uncomfortable position with weight, you will not get out of it. Trust me, you will not get out of it. You will sit in that hole. You will maybe get a few injuries if you practice if you really practice that unpositioned position that you're not comfortable with. If you just keep on practicing that for years and years and years. You might get injured, you might have a few pains on your body, you might not know where it's coming from, but it's just basically your squat stance. So if you just take just that extra step and just testing it, just to get the proper form and technique. Because quickly stand how you would normally squat, but stand that way. I just want to show them
this
the
way.
depth.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see how easily she got into that position? Quickly stand narrow and then squat again.
Okay, narrow.
Do you see how her form is lacking? And by your form not being proper, you can really get sore. You can get injured, and just to avoid injuries, just test your squat stance.
So we won't, if we do exercises and things like that, you won't say then, listen, go into a wide stance. Just go into whatever stance is comfortable, go into a squat position.
Yeah.
So we have to take away that terminology of saying a narrow squat, a wide squat.
Yeah. Even though there is certain benefits with squatting wide and with squatting narrow, you should squat how you feel more comfortable with. So if you do feel more comfortable standing narrow and squatting, and now the coach is telling you to squat wide, do a little bit of a wide stance, but still be comfortable in that position. And if you are a wide squatter, and now someone is telling you to squat narrow for the first time ever, just remember to stand a bit narrower, not too narrow, and just keep your form and breathe throughout the process.
Okay, and the breathing technique that we should do. So when we go down, should our stomach muscles be contracted, our ab muscles?
Okay, basically with that, you have to be a Coke bottle. So you have to breathe when you're at the starting point of the squat, okay? You're gonna breathe in to your stomach, not into your chest. You breathe into your stomach to create that compression. That's why we as powerlifters, we have belts to help with that extra compression. So then you breathe into your stomach. Imagine you're going underwater, and when you emerge is when you breathe out your air. That's when you're coming out of the water. So what you would do is so when you come out, you're more explosive, you breathe. With doing that, it actually helps you to get out of the hole. Just make yourself a rocket ship, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so this is for lifting weights mostly then.
Yeah,
and
it will also help if you just do it without the weights as well, just to keep that into play, that you just have to practice that. Because when you move on to weights, then you know, okay, this is how I'm supposed to breathe, and just to get that overall out of your workout. Even when you squat and you deadlift, you have to breathe a certain way. When we did the kickboxing session yesterday, you had to breathe a certain way. When you kick, you breathe.
Okay. And another thing, whenever we come up, there's always a thing that I am also guilty of telling the people. When you come up, you squeeze the glutes.
Squeeze the glutes, okay.
Yeah.
With weights, it's a bit intense. What we do as powerlifters, we get out of our position, we make sure that we just take a deep breath into our tummies and we just breathe. You can do that explosive power where you kind of squeeze your glutes, but what I saw a lot in the gym is where females are told to grow your glutes, you would have to push your hip, basically push your hips way out, push your glutes way out, and then squat, making it uncomfortable for you to actually do this with heavy weight on, because you will break your back. So you can do that little squeeze when you come up, just to create that extra tension.
Yeah, okay.
But your glutes will grow going lower
and exploding up.
Yeah, it will just go. Basically, what the glutes does is when you're in the hole, it's stretching. So you doing that little squeeze at the top, it's kind of helping, but not really. So the main movement of the squat is at the bottom.
So what would happen then is you don't pivot your hips forward. You just go up. No, you don't pivot it forward when you're squeezing. You shouldn't do that. That's bad, especially when you obviously have a weight with.
Yeah, what you can just do is just
go down and come
extend
up.
your knees.
Okay, cool. So that literally brings us to the end of this session. If you guys want a workout, go to the NMH Facebook pages, look at the previous workouts we had. The one we did during the week, we had a kickboxing session. So you can also just repeat that again. Get your form proper while you're doing the movements. And yes, that's basically it. Elmonè, any last words or remarks?
Just when you lift, just take into consideration your form and do not chase the weights. The weights will always be there. Get your form right before going to a heavier weight. So don't be an ego lifter. Just, if you see that your form is lacking, lower the weight. Just humble yourself a bit, lower the weight, and do the technique right, and then you can increase the weight as you go.
Okay, awesome stuff. We're gonna, after this, there's gonna be a short video of Elmonè and the powerlifting and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, so you guys can have a look at that, what the Powerlifting and Weightlifting Federation does in Namibia, or the competition.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically how the competitions goes down, how we supposed to train, the certain technique that we have to use during our squats, bench and deadlifts to get the most out of our lifts.
Awesome, guys. We'll see you guys in the next Flex episode.
Sag out!